My name is Stephanie. This is my piece. It is thinking about the spine in particular because I have scoliosis. I'm a poet by craft, and so it was really difficult for me to think about what to make visually for my piece. So I actually wrote just more of like a lyric essay, and then I kind of designed it in a way that it moved across like a spine. So the lyric essay really thinks about three things, which were kind of the three themes for this exhibit specifically, which was kinship, weaving, and then water. So we picked those as themes for our themes to think about collectively and in our individual pieces, so we could tie all the pieces together. So for me, kinship, like in the essay, I explore kinship with my grandmother because she also has scoliosis, and it's a genetic condition, or you can be predisposed to it essentially. And she has like a lot of back issues and stuff, so I like to think about that. And then I was also really thinking about the spine in terms of ways that it like chimes and resonates with other things. So for example, like a swimming lane line, I used to be a competitive swimmer, and that's really my closest connection to water as a person, I guess, within my lifetime, like that intimacy with the water in terms of being a competitive swimmer. And yeah, I think the only time I didn't have to wear my back brace during those few years was when I was swimming as well. So I think that's an interesting connection. Like the only time I was really out of being confined or being in like this back brace was when I was in the water. So I really wanted to think about swimming and my connection to that, and also ways that like lane lines reinforce like ideas of like being straight in society and things like that. So that's why I chose the lane line. Also, I'm very interested in conceptual art. So I took this lane line from a swimming pool that had no use for it anymore, so they just had like a bunch of lane lines laying around. And I took it and I kind of like shaped it. I just positioned it in like the way, pretty much like the curve of my spine to think about that connection. And then I guess weaving, as a writer and stuff, I think about weaving in terms of like text and also in bookmaking. It's kind of a process of weaving too. Also, the essay weaves in different like ideas and themes. So those were ways that I was thinking about weaving.
Age 10. I'm at summer camp, lying on a makeshift raft in the middle of the Cuyahoga River. It's made of patched-together newspapers and magazines, so I know it's only a matter of minutes before it sinks. As I lay there, I feel water steadily filling the raft and my body slowly submerging beneath the river's glimmering surface. An unintentional baptism. Years later, I learned that the Cuyahoga River, the site of this sacrament, has caught fire over a dozen times. Amid the industrial development of the Cleveland area in the 19th century, the Cuyahoga transformed into a landfill, carrying slicks of oil and other toxins on its waters. For decades, the river showed no signs of visible life, not even leeches or slugworms who often thrive on waste and disturbance. The water that purified me as a child also carries memories of fire, oil, and steel, memories of humans' past relationships with the land. The negative space of these weavings outlines a section in the Cuyahoga River. Using hand-dyed woven yarn in concert with rusted steel and tangled fringe, this piece blurs the distinctions between purity and toxicity. Cuyahoga Impression embraces imperfection and explores the possibility of repairing connection with places once sacrificed or neglected.
This is my other piece. It's called Soluble Spines. It's also just watercolors pretty much. The shape of my spine, which is curved. I was obviously interested in using watercolors because one of our themes is water, and obviously the color blue for water and everything, but mostly this piece is meant to be interactive, so you're supposed to spray it. I can demonstrate like this, but the idea is kind of being able to be permeable and ways that we're flexible and also connected through like the medium of water as well too, and that the way that art can truly be embodied in participation, and the ways that bodies are connected too.
Chair number 2 is a desired object gleaned from the hyperactivity I feel within my body and the spite I felt for the chair I owned in 2019. This is the second iteration of my chair design, which is intended to facilitate multiple ways of sitting so that I can move between positions frequently. The chair is designed to visually echo bodies, looking all at once to be dendriform, animal-like, and fungal. The look of this chair and the time and methods required for its construction are deeply antithetical to the chair I owned in 2019, which was injection formed from bright green plastic. It has scars from its violent, rapid, and demanding manufacturing process. It has an orange peel texture. It curves and cups at 90 degrees. Its form is willing to hold, but only in the form of sitting. So stern in its function, the object disconnects me from my body. Chair number 2 is ambiguous, formed from Maple's body and my time to be delicate and biological.
This video project is a collaboration between myself and filmmaker Stan Clausen. It aims to show the process behind this collaborative project. So you see images of the artist working, interwoven with images of the Great Salt Lake City, Antelope Island. So the video aims to communicate both the collaborative nature of this project and the entangled nature of bodies and their environments.
Bodies are temporary boundaries, matter organizing itself into a creature that slowly drifts into something else. Dune Fruit is about boundaries, iterations, drift, how liveliness in matter propels itself forwards, and the essential tools that have developed holistically throughout life in order to form creatures.
I gather interesting things, and then later I kind of combine them, and I learned a lot from this exhibit that more like kind of what I'm thinking comes out in the piece versus me like trying to put a piece together. It's like as I'm kind of processing all of these ideas and emotions and the introspection of everything, it kind of comes out in the art. Yeah, this one is stuck, so it can go. It can't move up. It can only really move down. Yeah, and it's all reclaimed pieces, and everything's found for recycle. I also kind of like that it's like in a question mark. The exhibit, everything that all the pieces that I use were somehow altered by water. So like the rust and the rocks. This is an old piston that has been like eroded away over years and years and years. Then the rocks, the found wood, but it was all how water shaped, whether it be good or bad. Water is such a big part of our everyday, and our lack of water, or how our water is going to make our environment toxic, especially locally. Like I think I read it yesterday about the Great Salt Lake. Like we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're still not doing enough.
Anything.
Yeah. So this is all how water's changed things. This is like an upward wave, and these are in memory of trees. The other really fun thing is that you can look through this one. So it is kind of like a periscope, even though it's all corroded. And then kind of like how we look at disability or how we look at ability. And we separate it from the environment.
Yeah. Interesting.
Like, we can't be healthy and not have a healthy environment.
This piece is a collaboration between 6 artists who were sponsored through an Art Access and Environmental Humanities collaboration project. Art Access is a local nonprofit that connects disabled artists in Salt Lake City to resources and also works to make public institutions of art more accessible. This piece is called Woven Lake. The lower platform represents the historic high levels of the Great Salt Lake from the 1980s, while the upper platform represents our current lake levels. So this piece helps us visualize the ways in which the lake is shrinking. The bottom layer has contributions from 6 artists who were collaborating on this art installation for the last year. So each piece has personal and cultural significance to the artists and relates to their personal experience with health and disability. The interweaving of materials represents the ways in which working together and supporting each other, both in the face of ableism and in the face of climate change, are essential.